Right then guys, welcome back to an extremely messy workshop. So, as I'm sure a lot of you will be aware, I recently laid the new flooring in the workshop, and since then I've not been in here for about a week due to some personal circumstances. So I thought it's about time I get back out here and start cleaning things up, putting everything back. As you can see, I've already put the drawers back in, fix the shelves back on the wall. I had to empty all the drawers because they were just too heavy to hold in position and get back on the runners, so they need reorganising. But if I'm honest, I didn't actually sort them out properly when I first finished the mitre station build. I threw everything in there out the way, you know what it's like, out of sight, out of mind. So now I want to try and reorganise them a bit more and make better use of the space. So I've got a ton of things lying all over the workshop which need to be organised and put away. But the main reason I thought I'd make this quick impromptu video, one, I might not get a proper video out this week because it's going to take me a while to sort everything out again. And two, I want to give a couple of shout outs. So that's why I'm making this quick video. Right, so after a few hours of cleaning and reorganising, the shop is actually looking a lot cleaner. I've still got a lot to organise, but at least I can come out here and get some work done. You'll notice there's a lot of stuff on the shelves, including the bandsaw. That's all probably going to be moved around. I've just put it there while I was kind of sorting through everything, working out what I've got, and while I decide where it's going to go. The drawers, the majority of them have been sorted out and they're good, but there are a few that need to be sorted out properly and homes found for all the stuff that's in them. You can see this is the worst drawer out of all of them, and it's just a mixture of like saws, scrapers, pencils, pliers, knives, screwdrivers, you name it, it's in it. But I've just kind of chucked it all in there so it's out of sight, out of mind. But that's one of the jobs I plan on doing. You'll notice I've got some of the tool holders on the cleats on this side of the workshop, but they're not staying there. I'm going to be making some changes to all the tool holders and the French cleat system. That's why I haven't actually put them back over that side of the workshop as of yet. But it's definitely looking a lot better than it did a few hours ago. Right, so I want to take this opportunity to talk about some of the things I plan on doing in the workshop in the not too distant future. First one I want to talk about is the French cleat system. Now, I really like the French cleat system. I think it's great because you can move things around and they're not stuck in the same place. But you'll notice I've not actually put them back on this side of the workshop, mainly because I want to rip them down to 19mm. At the moment they're about 32mm thick, and I think they're a little bit chunky looking. That was just the thickness of the material I actually used. So I want to rip them down to 19mm, the same as plywood normally is. And then I'm going to be doing away with a lot of the tool holders that I've made in the past. There's nothing wrong with the tool holders I've made, but a lot of them were completely over-engineered and quite technical to build. And the reason for that, I wanted to make the videos a little bit more interesting when I was actually making the tool holders. But the trouble is, when you're trying to work out the best locations to put them on the cleats, because of the different sizes and shapes and designs, it can be quite awkward trying to find the best locations for the certain tool holders, because some, you know, need space above it to get the tools on and off. Others stick out further. Some of them are a bit strange shaped. And I don't think there's any need to have them so complex. So I'm going to be changing the tool holders for something a lot simpler and I think it's going to look a lot better on the wall, and if it works out, they're actually going to be easier to put on the French cleats. So, but that's all I've got to say about that. So the next thing I want to do, I'm not sure when it's going to be done, but it's something that I plan on doing, is painting the fronts of the units. Now, some people might think that's a stupid idea and probably prefer it as it is with the bare wood, but after building these, I've not actually sanded them or applied any finish, and I want to try and personalise the workshop for the channel, and I think it'll look quite nice. I've got some ideas, I'm not going to say too much, but I think it'll look quite nice when it's done. So that's a job I want to do. I also want to trim around the bottom of the units, because a lot of the dust and debris gets kicked underneath the unit, so I've got to put some trim around the bottom of the cabinets just to close up the gap, which I can now do because obviously I've done the flooring. So underneath where I keep my cheap planer thicknesser, which I love this solution because it's not a tool I use all the time, it kind of keeps the workshop looking tidy. Underneath I've still got a space under here, got some tools just put in there at the moment, but I was originally going to put another big drawer in, but you'd end up losing some of the space because obviously the drawer can only be this deep, and that kind of wastes all the space below it. So what I'm thinking of doing on there, just to finish the front off, is put a fold down door or flip down door, whatever you want to call it, and that way it'll finish it off, but that way I can utilise all the space right down to the floor up until like this bottom of this drawer, and I think that'd be a much better use of the space. So on the bench where I've got my DeWalt table saw built into, I've still got the space at the front here. I want to put a drawer in there which I can keep either push sticks and accessories for the table saw in. So I haven't actually got material to do that with at the moment, but that will finish the front of the bench off nicely. So now let's talk about dust extraction. So in the 3 and a bit years that I've been using this workshop, I've kind of been neglecting dust extraction. Couple of reasons for that. One, it's quite expensive if you want to get something halfway decent, and two, it's one of those areas where I'm kind of like, do I want this tool or do I want to spend it on a vacuum? And let's be honest, vacuums and dust extraction probably isn't the most exciting thing to do, and I'll hold my hands up and say I'm completely wrong for thinking like that, but I'm just being honest with you. So the next purchases that I plan on making in the workshop are dust extraction. I plan on getting some sort of chip extractor for the bigger machines such as bandsaw, table saw, planer thicknesser, and then I want to get a normal vacuum for the smaller power tools, but obviously they cost money. I think I've worked out what I want to do. One of the items isn't in stock at the moment, it's only available on back order, so I'm going to be waiting at least a minimum of 4 weeks for that to come back in stock, and once I've got the money and purchased that, then I can move on to getting the smaller vacuum for the handheld tools. So that is one thing that is set in stone. It's going to happen. It's just a case of as and when they come into stock and I've got the money. So like I've said, dust extraction is going to be located in this corner of the workshop as and when I actually get that sorted out. So another thing I want to do in the workshop is upgrade the workshop lighting. Now when I first built the workshop, I threw up a couple of normal light fixtures, and I've just been using like normal LED bulbs, and they work alright. They're plenty bright enough, but sometimes when you're setting up the camera, they can be a bit of a nightmare. And because I only got the 2 fixtures in the workshop, sometimes the lighting isn't that great. So I definitely want to upgrade the lighting. Now, to start with, I was thinking about getting some LED buttons, but I've kind of gone off the idea of those, and I'm swaying more in the direction of the light panels that you can get, a bit like Peter Millard did in his workshop, just the square flat panels. I think using those, one, they're a lot lower profile, whereas these light bulbs and these fixtures, they probably stick down from the ceiling about 8.5 inches, whereas the light panels, I'm assuming, will be a lot shallower than that. And if I place them in the right locations, it should provide much better lighting in the shop, and then I can also add like some type of diffuser if I want to kind of dull them down again, a bit like Peter Millard did on his workshop lighting. So since I reorganised the workshop, I am absolutely loving the mitre station setup and having the big drawers to store stuff in. I love the planar thicknesser slide out storage solution. That works brilliantly because it's not a tool I use that often, and it's nice to just hide it out the way. The shelving, great. I just need to organise the stuff that's on it. This side of the workshop is obviously a lot of empty space, which I quite like, because if I'm working on something that's a lot bigger and I need more room, then that gives me a large area to kind of work on things. Not sure if I'm going to be adding any cleats below my air filtration unit yet. Not really sure what to do on this side of the workshop at the moment. If you've got any ideas or suggestions, leave it in the comments. As far as this end of the workshop, this is an area that doesn't get utilised as well as it could. Now, I want to build some sort of rolling bench or cabinet that I can pull out if I need to, but then just push it up against that wall. Same sort of height as the mitre station. Not sure if I'm going to put doors on it or shallow drawers, a bit like a tool chest. And that way I could keep things like screwdrivers, spanners, all the smaller hand tools that are at the moment are just dumped in that drawer, and it's a nightmare. So that's a possibility, but I've got time to think about that because I haven't actually got the material, and I'm actually saving up to sort the dust extraction out, so that will be a future project. Right, so now on to the shout outs I want to do. First one is going to be to a guy called Stuart Parker, otherwise known as spwoodcreations, over on Instagram. What Stuart does is 3D print accessories for a whole range of tools, such as the Evolution Rage table saws, the LD Ferrex band saw, and a few others. So he posted on Instagram a 0 clearance insert plate for the Ferrex bandsaw, and I messaged him saying I had the same saw and that looked interesting, and he said he was actually working on a design for the emergency stop paddle, and he offered to send me the items for free. So he sent a couple of 0 clearance insert plates and a fancy looking stop paddle, which is absolutely brilliant. They're well made. They come complete with the double-sided tape, so you can just literally peel the backing off and stick it on. So I'll leave a link to his Instagram and his Etsy store where he actually sells the accessories he makes. So definitely go and check that out, because there might be something on there that you would fancy for yourself, or maybe a gift for someone else. So once again, Stuart, that is absolutely fantastic, and I really appreciate that. Right, so the next shout out is for a relatively small channel. I think he's only been making YouTube videos for around 4 months. It's called GRUMPA'S Workshop. of course I've got to stick up for all the other grumpers out there. So he's basically retired and he's now wanting to get back into woodworking. He's in the process of setting up his woodworking shop in the garage. He's made videos on some of the equipment that he's already purchased for the channel, and he talks about items that he wants to purchase going forward. Talks about wanting to learn new woodworking skills such as hand cut dovetails and things like that. So if you like watching me in a shed, then the chances are there's going to be something on his channel that might take your interest. So head over there, give him a sub and let him know that I sent you. So the next shout out I want to do is for a channel that's been on YouTube for quite a while now. He's produced over 100 videos but still has a relatively low subscriber count, and I'm not sure what the reason for that is because he definitely deserves more subscribers. The guy's name is Neil and the channel name is GRAMPA'S Workshop, and he produces things using reclaimed materials from broken up pallets. He also does a little bit of turning. He makes pens and things and bowls. So if you like my content, then you're going to love some of the content he produces. One thing I do want to say is Neil is brilliant at freehand routing. Some of the projects I've seen him create doing routing free-handed is top notch. I can't route to save my life and he is absolutely brilliant at that. So again, head over there, give him a subscribe, check out some of his videos and tell him that I sent you. So the next channel is The Weekend Shed Head, and you have got to seriously check this guy's channel out. He has got one of the most amazing workshops, stroke man cave, stroke party room, stroke cinema room, stroke pub and outdoor TV area. Workshop's amazing. You have to go and check out his YouTube channel. I think he's relatively new to YouTube, but he started out on Instagram as far as I'm aware, and he got over 1,000 followers on Instagram, and he's recently started his YouTube journey. So again, head over there, check his workshop tour video out. Amazing, not jealous at all, and let him know that I sent you. So the last shout out is for another relatively small channel. I think he's been on YouTube for around about 8 months. It's just a normal guy who's setting up a workshop in his garage. When you read his about section on his YouTube channel, it states that 12 months ago he didn't own any power tools, and since then he's been setting up his workshop in his garage, collecting cheap budget power tools and machinery, and he does a bit of woodworking, tool reviews, same sort of thing that I do. So once again, if you like what I do, I'm sure there's going to be content on his channel that you're going to like also. So head over there and show him some support, subscribe to his channel and let him know that I sent you. Right then guys, that's going to do it for this video. I apologise it weren't the most exciting video in the world, but things have been a little bit up in the air for me this last week or so. So I'm sure I'll be back to normal in the very near future. I'll leave links to all the channels that I've mentioned down in the video description, so feel free to check out those channels. If you like what you see, subscribe to their channels. So until the next video, stay safe and you will see me in the next one. Cheers for watching guys.